everyone, welcome back to China Through SGlasses.
SGlasses.
I'm Jingnan.
And I'm Wu Fan.
Today we'll be discussing the first episode of our mini-series on Chinese entertainment and censorship, specifically celebrity scandals.
So disclaimer, I'm gonna add a lot of shit and shots fired is gonna be lit.
So we hope that you enjoyed Chinese New Year, and right now we're gonna start off the topic by talking about something that might not be very auspicious, but we're gonna talk about what tafang is. So tafang is Chinese and directly translates to collapsing of houses. Actually, it is an online slang term used amongst fandoms in China, which means that your house is collapsed, meaning the idol that you have loved and adored has their image in your heart has collapsed, like your house would collapse in on itself.
It's like the altar is collapsing. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So essentially that usually happens when your favorite idol or celebrity has some negative news surrounding them that has been exposed, and their pure untainted image in your heart has been forever ruined. Therefore you will say, oh, so and so 塌房了, so and so's house has been like collapsed. Yeah, so that is a very popular term in recent years that you will grow to understand why it has gotten more popular in recent years. But essentially what we're going to do today is cover a long list of celebrities that have indeed 塌房了. Yeah. So we have kind of categorized them into a few broad categories, but there are some that are miscellaneous or just escapes the like rhyme or reason as to why they kind of disappeared, and we will cover those as well. But we will start off today's discussion with one of the most famous incidents and one of the earliest incidents of celebrity scandals due to the tax evasion. Do you want to take it away?
Okay. I guess tax evasion is probably going to be the most straightforward reason why people will 塌房.
Yeah.
A lot of celebrities earn a shit ton just from appearing for a few seconds, but they don't really pay the taxes that they should be paying. One of the famous cases is Fan Bingbing. Yeah, she's known for her beauty and for starring in a lot of dramas until shit happened and she disappeared for a very long time.
Okay, to give you context of how famous Fan Bingbing is, so she got her hit basically very early on as the character of a maid in 还珠格格, which we mentioned in the previous episode, but basically that's like a fan favorite for all generations in China, even until today.
The summer vacation special.
Yeah, so she was like her level of fame, I can only equivalent like I think she was the most famous female actress during the time of her downfall. I think she was the A-list of A-list celebrities in China, and like we mentioned, she actually broke into a bit of Hollywood before like all of this went down. So to give you a bit of details on what happened, on 28 May 2018, so this was one of like the earliest kind of 塌房 incidents, there's this TV anchor Cui Yongyuan, who is a very famous CCTV like Beijing.
He appeared on the Spring Festival Gala 春晚 a lot of times also.
Yeah, he is a very famous TV anchor in his own right. He actually used social media to leak a redacted contract that disclosed that Fan Bingbing was being paid 10 million RMB, RMB is the Chinese currency, for 4 days of work. I mean, that's besides the point. I mean, it's just that she was paid a lot of money, $10 million. The next day, he actually published a second redacted contract showing another 50 million like RMB was being paid to Fan Bingbing for the same job. So essentially, what she had done, Fan Bingbing, was this thing called 阴阳合同, which translates to 阴阳like contract. Basically, there were two versions of the same contract for the job. One version was like explicitly much lower in terms of her wages. That version was the one she would submit in her tax papers, so that it would seem like her income was much significantly lower than what it actually was. This was done to evade taxes and pay less taxes. So this disclosure on social media prompted the Jiangsu Provincial and Wuxi City Tax Authorities to investigate, and of course the official like statement that was released from Fan Bingbing's studio was denying that she had ever done this, but she then disappeared from public eye for about like 1 month, and actually more than 1 month, about 3 months. Eventually she came out on social media apologizing to the public for tax evasion, and she was ordered by the Chinese authorities to pay 883 million RMB, which is about US $127 million in taxes and penalties. So like I cannot like, okay, it's close to $1 billion RMB. Like, yeah, I get that RMB is not worth a lot of money, but it's close.
Still a lot.
It's a lot of money that she has evaded in taxes.
It's like people might not earn that much in their lifetime, and
People
here she
won't-
is evading.
It's insane. Like, it's in avoiding taxes, and that's just taxes, you know. Like, can you imagine how much she actually makes?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
a lot of this like netizens' response to celebrities who are busted for tax evasion is, Jesus, if that's how much you are owed, like if that's how much you owe the government in taxes, how much are you actually making?
Exactly.
It's really absolute insanity. Yeah. Something I found interesting while like researching on this is that there seems to be a pattern of some celebrity scandals not being on their Baidu Baike. So Baidu Baike is the Chinese equivalent of Wikipedia. So it's a bit odd. So on Wikipedia, I won't say Wikipedia is completely neutral, but it is a relatively like not biased, kind of factual, objective telling of an event or a person's life. But Baidu Baike is heavily censored, and it's just interesting to see that some incidents and some celebrities have their scandals on their Wikipedia page, like Chinese Wikipedia page, but some don't. I just find it interesting.
I think it depends on like how powerful your 经纪公司 is, which is like your managing company lah. So for some managing companies, they're so powerful that they kind of twist the truth sometimes. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, someone tries to change the Baidu Baike and they change it back.
The thing, another difference between like Baidu Baike and Wikipedia is that Wikipedia is available to the public for like editing, which like leads to a lot of memes and jokes. But Baidu Baike is owned by Baidu, which is like Google. Like, imagine Google had a Wikipedia. So this is not like anybody can go on to edit it and change it. So it was completely bizarre because you will look at Fan Bingbing's with Chinese Wikipedia, it will just tell you every aspect of her life and her career, and then suddenly like it will stop at 2018 and nothing happened. Like, it wouldn't mention a single word about this scandal.
Yeah, like from what I know, Fan Bingbing has been trying to do a lot of 公益, like a lot of charity, and she actually went down to like help out for certain natural disasters and stuff like that. So it's like trying to stock up good karma so that one day CCCP let her out.
On that note about doing charity and especially for natural disasters, I will get to that later, but a lot of celebrities have been doing that and not necessarily out of their own will. Yeah. That's not
nervously.
Yeah, so another celebrity that is very famous for evading taxes is Deng Lun. So if you know Deng Lun, it probably is from that 香蜜甜甜
静如霜.
What is the English name for that? Ashes of Love. Yeah, it's on Netflix. So if you know Ashes of Love, then the male protagonist, at least the good guy, the Phoenix guy, he is the one. His name is Deng Lun, and he is the one that we're talking about. So this was in March 15 of 2022, so just last year. It's very, very recent.
Yeah.
He was fined 106 million yuan, which is about $16.6 million for tax evasion. Significantly lesser than Fan Bingbing, but still a buttload of money. He apologized on his personal social media account before his and his studio social media accounts were suspended and made unavailable. Basically, he got wiped off his social media presence got wiped off the Chinese internet. So interestingly, his Chinese Wikipedia covers this matter. So I don't know why there's a difference between Fan Bingbing and him for this matter. But yeah, like he was up and rising like 小鲜肉, which is like young tender meat, fresh meat. Yeah, so he was young, like up and rising idol / actor, and he had a very promising career ahead of him. Yeah, but that's why a lot of people were like, God, why do you just pay your goddamn taxes?
Exactly.
Yeah, so these two celebrities fell down their high horse because of tax evasion, and these two are like the most straightforward that we will get, because from here on out everything starts getting a lot more complicated. You want to take it away with the next one that's very, very controversial?
Yeah, okay, the next one. Okay, these are patriotism driven cases of people getting cancelled by netizens for doing things that are not in line with what they think a nationalistic person would do.
Yeah, a patriot would do.
Yeah. So there's this actor called Zhang Zhehan. I guess he was steadily rising to fame over the past few years, especially with the BL drama Shanheling. Yeah, because he's known for, okay, he's not like
Word of Honor. So
Yeah.
that is a very, very famous Chinese BL drama in 2021. That's how he like got his like 10 minutes of, let's say 10 minutes, like that's how he got his big break.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And he's also known for like being very good at acting. His image is someone who's steadily working on his acting instead of like doing weird shit to gain fame.
Yeah.
But in August 2021, there were photos that surfaced online of Zhang Zhehan posing in front of Japan's Yasukuni Shrine, which is also called 靖国神社 in Chinese. And he also attended a wedding ceremony at the Nogi Shrine in 2019. And these are shrines that are very controversial in China because they honor the military officers who invaded China. And even until now, it's still a very
these are not just normal military officers. These are military officers that have been convicted of war crimes in international court, but they are treated as heroes and honored in Japanese shrines. So like these, it's not like possibly controversial. No, it's so controversial that the Japanese emperor has refused to go to these shrines. It's that it's like a Hitler level kind of.
And like these are specific landmarks that I think in China's own like citizenship education they learn about these places. And they learn about how heavy laden the meanings behind these places are. Because they are tied to like Nanjing massacres and all the atrocities that Japanese people did indeed perform in China.
So it's not just I should have known better. Like
this is I know.
You should you already know. Like you've been new. It's okay. So I cannot emphasize just how I guess for a lot when this whole scandal broke out because of his fame from like the Word of Honor, a lot of international fans were coming to his defense and saying that why is it such a big deal? He just visited a shrine. But you have to understand that this is a matter of international relations and diplomacy. Every single year when the Japanese president prime minister visits these shrines, every single year when the Chinese embassy, the Chinese officials will have a long speech condemning the Chinese prime minister. This happens every single year. Like it is a matter of genuine tension between the two countries on an international relations level. So it is really a kind of very heavy topic for any ordinary Chinese citizen, and I think that's why it kind of stirred up and riled up a lot of patriotic feelings amongst Chinese people, and they were very, very upset about it, and he immediately got cancelled. His response, so Zhang Zhehan's response was basically he issued an apology saying that he's very sorry for his ignorance and that it was oversight. Basically that his rationale excuse, whatever you call it, is that he liked to take photos everywhere, so he was not aware of the history and the significance of the photos that he took, like the place where he stood, and people were not having it. So People's Daily, which is the CCTV's mouthpiece, not CCTV, like the CCP's mouthpiece, 人民日报, it is like the biggest newspaper in China that is again state owned. They responded by saying, as a public figure, a lack of historical knowledge and unknowingness of the suffering of the nation is unacceptable. And it got to the point where the China Association of Performing Arts it's like the most influential people in Chinese entertainment industry called for a boycott of him due to his photos and the entire controversy and scandal. His works were taken down, his social media presence was wiped out, everything, he was wiped off the surface of the internet for China.
There's also a conspiracy that he was done over by Gong Jun, who is actually his co-star in the show. But okay, to me I think he should have known better. But it's also a bit odd that the moment he hit fame, people start digging all the way back into the past to find shit on him.
Also, it kind of begs the question, for how long are you expected to be responsible for the things you've done in the past? Because the internet immortalizes everything, right? So are you only excused for your bad behavior if, let's say, you did something wrong when you were a young child? Because people would normally excuse a young child for doing all sorts of stuff.
Okay, the conspiracy that I had, that a lot of people had about this particular incident was, his photos were from 2018 and 2019 respectively, and he was already an actor for multiple years. He was in
2005 actually.
he was in what's that called? 琅琊榜. He acted as young.
Oh,
He was in-
2015.
Yeah, he was like he's kind of like a B-list, C-list celebrity at that point in time. Like he did not get his like big break until 2021. But the thing is, he was in the public eye in 2018 and 2019 when the photos were originally posted. So why is it that only after his big break came that suddenly like it all cascaded down like in a matter of days? The conspiracy was that the Chinese government didn't like how much attention this particular
drama that he starred in was gaining
because it was a boys' love drama, which basically is a homosexual drama, starring even though it was not explicit, it was implicit that these the main characters protagonists were in a homosexual relationship. The conspiracy essentially is that this is the Chinese government's way of saying we don't like homosexual content in the media, and it kind of was confirmed in some way because later on, we will cover this in terms of censorship when we talk about C-dramas and BL in other episodes. But later on in the same year, the Chinese government actually clamped down on all homosexual like BL dramas
productions
altogether. So that meant that those dramas that were already filmed could not be broadcasted. Those that were in the process of filming had to halt production. Yes. So there's a lot of conspiracy going around. My personal opinion is that he definitely should have known better.
Yeah.
Like, even I know that, like, I'm not even a Chinese citizen, and from my whatever remnants I have of like living in China and what I hear from my relatives, even I know like this is like even the Japanese emperor doesn't go to these shrines, you know. So it is really not easy for you to claim ignorance. That's one thing. However, I do think that his downfall is not just
because of those photos.
There is definitely my personal conspiracy is that there's some orchestration behind what went down, and the fact that it went down so quickly and so swiftly, and how everyone was against him all at once.
He actually posted some videos of his side of the story, and for him what he said wasn't as much of the institutional aspects that we are talking about. To him it was the co-star Gong Jun who's trying to bring him down.
Really? Yeah. I never heard of that theory before.
It's his own Instagram, but he really looks like a very different person now. It's very disheveled, a little bit of like facial hair. For all these years, he's been working very hard and really just working on being an actor rather than a celebrity.
Yeah.
And finally, his hard work is paid off, but there's so many forces that he cannot control working against him.
So yeah, another incident of a celebrity being cancelled or like, you know, collapsing.
Also related to Japan.
Also related to patriotism, as you know, like Chinese people have very strong feelings about Japan. Is Zhao Wei. So Zhao Wei is actually
还珠格格 again.
Again. So,
she's literally the 还珠格格.
Yes, correct. So like Fan Bingbing, she was in the very famous Chinese drama 还珠格格. She was the main protagonist. So yeah, she has been famous for a very long time, and she's a very successful female director as well. Her movie, her like debut movie made like broke box office records and stuff like that. So she has a very famous actress, very successful,
also paving the way for like female entertainment industry.
Yeah, and she also is a businesswoman. Like she kind of heavily invests in stocks and like
that one also had a bit of problem.
Yeah, she's someone who is kind of always enthralled in like scandals, and allegedly she was very close with Ma Yun, who was the CEO of Alibaba and Taobao, if you know. So yeah, she's quite a prominent figure, let's just put it this way. Like whatever you have to say about her, you cannot deny that she's a very prominent figure. However, that she managed to disappear, like is not of her own will, but she was scraped completely clean off the internet overnight for seemingly no reason in 2021. But before that, we can go through some of her history that people have speculated led to her erasing in 2021. Do you want to go through it?
Okay, so in 2001, which is like more than 2 decades ago, she did a group of photos for this Elle Official China fashion magazine, and she was wearing a designer dress, and the dress looked like the Japanese military's rising sun flag during World War II. She got cancelled for that. And I remember like even until now, my parents talk about it and they say stuff like Zhao Wei should have known better and she's just beautiful with no brains and stuff like that, which is very untrue.
But yeah, so this is another example of like citizens being very upset about people who are seemingly traitors to China and like not nationalistic or patriotic enough to kind of like step on the wrong side of history and be closely associated with certain like Japanese things in a very negative way lah. And another one would be in 2016 when she completed her second feature film, No Other Love, and she was criticized because one of the cast members is a Taiwanese director and actor who has supported Taiwanese independence, and people therefore say like, why are you using him? Like, why are you using him as part of your cast? And called for a boycott of her movie, and it's so stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. So following so people then started to attack her for being a public enemy and traitor to the nation, and they even branded her as an American spy because she took photos and shook hands with Hillary Clinton once. It's so like then because of all this backlash, the production studios had to release apology statements, but the attack like continued, and eventually under the pressure she had to apologize and recast this particular individual, this Taiwanese individual, and replace him altogether. So again, you will see a pattern where Chinese citizens and netizens are very, very sensitive when it comes to issues like Taiwan and issues like Japan. These are very heavy emotional baggages and burdens for Chinese people, partly due to the brainwashing that the government subjects them to. But yes, definitely, like I'm not denying that these are very important national interest matters for China, but it's not. Sometimes it goes a bit overboard in the way that they see things in places where they might not be things. You know?
That's very true.
Yeah. And then in 2018, the Shanghai Stock Exchange actually banned her and her husband from company boards for 5 years because it was stated that they made the bid lacking financial resources and that their bid disrupted the market order. Basically, that they kind of had malpractices when it comes to finances and stock exchange, and they were banned from the stock exchange for 5 years. Again, all of this is 2001, 2016, 2018. All of these had nothing to directly do with the sudden and like unannounced, unforeseen erasure that she experienced on 27 August 2021. So you will begin to see a pattern as we go across the different celebrities. August of 2021 or the summer of 2021 was an absolute catastrophe for Chinese celebrities. Everyone was so worried. It was like the Me Too movement in America and Hollywood, but in China, except it was not public allegations. It was just like the government bringing down celebrity after celebrity. So on August 2021, all film and television dramas featuring Zhao Wei disappeared from Chinese video streaming platforms. Her Weibo was deleted. There was no explanation given by the Chinese government. Works about her works from over 2 decades ago were like removed from streaming platforms. So
it's still there, but they take out her face from the cover image.
They take out her face,
even if she's the main character.
They take out her name from the cast as well.
Yeah.
So it is and until today, like there is no explanation or like rhyme or reason that has like official statement that has been given by the Chinese government as to why she disappeared.
Yeah.
So again, she's someone that has had many scandals in the past. Some people say it's because of her patriotism problems. Some like anti-patriotism problems. Some people say it's because of her business practices or malpractices. But either way, she's completely wiped out. Like she hasn't appeared back in the public eye for a very long time.
Honestly, my understanding of this is it started off with the Zhang Zhehan incident, then it snowballed on. Yeah, because if you look at it, timeline-wise, the Zhang Zhehan incident happened in earlier August 2021. And then later, Zhao Wei's stuff got wiped out. And all of them are related to the whole patriotic incident. And also the fact that it's all related to China's relations with Japan. Yeah.
I have a slightly different theory, which is that around the same time of her being wiped out, Ma Yun from Alibaba was also being wiped out. by
Oh,
the
shit.
Chinese government.
You're
So yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around because the government just doesn't want to give the people like a clear and transparent explanation. Which I mean, what can we do about it? But yeah, so it doesn't help that it doesn't help the look of you trying to not claim to be an authoritarian government and regime to just wipe people out like that. It's not good. The vibes are not good.
Like, well, the problem with not Singapore, sorry. The problem with China is like, to me, it's still a very like heavily symbolic society. So like, for example, the case of Zhao Wei using a Taiwanese talent who has in the past supported the Taiwan independent movement. Like all these connections that you have with someone just automatically seem to suggest your alignment to something.
Yes.
Even if honestly, some people just use talent for talent's sake or like they do art for art's sake without thinking about the very, very subtle like political messages that it might send across even though it's not intended to at all. Yeah, that's the problem with like having so many intersectionalities as a human being.
Moving on a bit from the more heavy macro things to more, I would guess, conventional reasons why celebrities are brought down. So sex scandals.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the longest of the like this is the longest list amongst the different categories we have. As surprisingly.
Also somehow always tends to be the man.
No comments on that. No comments on that. So there wasn't a very I wouldn't say that there is no Me Too movement in China, but the Me Too movement in China has been heavily suppressed over the years. So it was not a very prominent one big movement that was experienced at the end of 2018 as it was in Western countries and Hollywood and other parts of the world. But the sex scandals are not inhibited by censorship for various reasons. But so we will cover them in somewhat chronological order. The first one would be Luo Zhixiang, which is like Shou Luo.
Shou Luo, yeah.
His English name is Shou Luo. So he is a Taiwanese singer, pop star, I would guess is the best way to describe him. He also is an actor, but he's mostly known for his music. 2020, this was in April of 2020, him and his then girlfriend of 9 years, who was a kind of Chinese influencer, like mainland Chinese influencer, broke up. And the girlfriend went on to Weibo, which is Chinese equivalent of Twitter, to air out their
dirty laundry.
Basically saying that the reason why they broke up their 9-year relationship is because Shou Luo had cheated on her with a lot of different women
at the same time.
And the most scandalous detail was that he had participated in like orgies and like you know, and stuff like that. And you have to understand that, you know, maybe if you are someone who grew up in the West and they are like used to seeing celebrities like Robert Downey Jr., who like literally went to jail in his younger years because, you know, like going to orgies and cheating on your significant other sounds very tame. But you have to understand that this is China, which is a very highly socially conservative country.
If you say like East Asian sphere in general.
Yeah. So like this was a very, very big scandal because his persona has always been like very wholesome and like family friendly. Not say family friendly, but like he was seen as an upright guy.
It always seemed like he wasn't like the typical toxic masculinity guy also. Like sometimes he even acts as like he has a like female persona and he like jokes around. He just seems like a very nice senior in the entertainment industry, and he's always giving tips to the juniors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it was just very surprising to a lot of people. It came as a shock to a lot of people. And the reason why the girlfriend claimed that the reason why she exposed him was because he was actually a part of a idol selection show that was, I think it's called Produce 101. It was so basically he was a mentor and a judge on Produce 101.
And all the contestants were girls, young girls.
So she wanted to expose him so that young girls will not be like deceived by him and to, you know, not fall for his sweet words and whatever not. So after the ex-girlfriend made all these allegations against him, Shou Luo immediately apologized online and to all the people that he has done harm to. Apparently there were conspiracy theories going around that the reason why he's so quick to admit fault and, you know, like own up to his mistakes is because she probably has like a lot of other evidence and receipts in her hands. Because like normally what people like not only like to do, but normally what people tend to do when they face scandals or these allegations is to deny.
Yes.
But he just came out and immediately owned up to it. So people were like,
Another aspect of that is that normally given the heterosexual normativity here, normally when the female celeb or female influencer exposes their male celebrity boyfriends, right, they are like in a state of like maybe like hysteria or like so much upset that they can't really write a logical essay. But for Zhou Yangqing, her essay was so level-headed and so organized that people are calling it the model essay for exposing your boyfriends. Yeah, so guys, brush up on your essay writing skills. You might need it in the future. Yeah, so because of Zhou Yangqing's model essay, right, like Shoulo couldn't even like deny it without thinking about the consequences because it's written so well.
There were no logical gap holes or like loopholes that he could pick apart.
She really just pulled out the entire like timeline. So
yeah, and the meme that came out of this was that so Shou Law wrote a book on time management. So he one of his like name was so he had a book that was like he published a book that was all about time management initially like years ago, and that was to kind of explain like his busy schedule and how he manages being a celebrity and all that kind of stuff. But now people look back on that and like because so one of the jokes of like one of the things mentioned in his girlfriend's essay is that she said that I'm so shocked that you would cheat on me because we would chat until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you have work like early in the morning. So how do you find time to sleep with all this woman
at the same time?
Yeah, and like so basically long story short, the Chinese internet called him the
时间管理大师
which translates to the master of time management because he manages his time so well that he has a full-time girlfriend, a full-time career, and manages to you know like sleep with so many different women at the same time.
And people look back retrospectively and say, oh, that's why he has like such dark eye circles.
Yeah, correct. Like they will pull out photos of like him and say like, look at his dark eye circles.
Oh yeah, another thing about him was he was using different phones to talk to different girls so that he wouldn't like accidentally text the wrong person. Which is quite insane lah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on men because I don't wanna be caught.
Okay, and the thing is this happened in 2020, right? And he's been like laying low and trying his best to get back into the mainland Chinese market now. But I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. But the thing is, I recently traveled to Taiwan and I saw his face in the smack middle of an upcoming end of year concert. So you know that he's back to stardom in Taiwan at least.
I don't know. I haven't been to Taiwan in a while, so I don't know how it's like currently over there with him and his reputation. But yeah, it's agonizing to see people be not held accountable for their actions. But yeah, like so his was the first of like a series of male celebrities that kind of fell down from their fame due to their sex scandal. The next one I think is the most infamous one on our list and I think it's the one most of you will be familiar with. Kris Wu.
Wu Fan.
Where do we even begin with this motherfucker? Oh god. Okay, so for those who don't know, Kris Wu is a Canadian Chinese rapper, singer, actor, whatever you want to call him, idol.
He thinks he's good, but he's not good at any of those things.
Yeah, he debuted as the leader of EXO, which is still an ongoing very famous I think 3rd or 4th gen like male K-pop band under the SM Entertainment Company.
I think 3rd gen.
3rd gen, yeah.
Used to have 12 members, now probably like 8.
8, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So he Kris was Chinese, like he's ethnically Chinese but his nationality is Canadian. Like this comes pertinent later. So he was the leader of EXO and he was the first person, like the joke is that he led the
Exodus. Exodus! Pun intended.
Yeah, he also led the exit of all the Chinese member, all but one Chinese, actually all the Chinese members.
And at this point, Lei is not even active anymore.
Lei left.
Oh, for real? Okay,
Lei left,
officially left. Okay.
So there are 4 Chinese members in EXO. He was the first of the 4 to leave the Korean band and actually join the Chinese mainland Chinese entertainment industry. Over there he gained like he was already very famous. So he went back, like they call it went back to China.
Yeah.
Even though he's not even like his nationality is not even Chinese, but that's besides the point.
归国世子.
Yeah, 归国, they call it like those the 4 sons
who returned to our country.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he was very famous for a very long time. Even
for all the bad reasons, I would say. Yeah.
like he was never very talented. Like he was never acclaimed for his talent.
Yeah.
He
just had a lot of good connections because his mom is very rich and he is basically the only celebrity in his own entertainment company.
like nepotism basically.
Yeah.
So then what happened in 2021 July, again, you know, the theme of celebrities falling down like houseflies in the summer of 2021. Do you want to explain what happened?
Okay, so there's this 19-year-old Chinese woman by the name of Tu Meizhu, and she released a post on her Weibo account on July 8, 2021, accusing Kris Wu of raping her and more than 30 other women, including 2 minors. To go into details, right, it might like even drug or like give you a lot of alcohol such that you're not very conscious of what's happening and then rape you. And apparently there's like an entire circle of Chinese celebrities who are doing this.
And they were accused of gang rape, right? Yeah.
Which is very, very bad. And I mean, okay, there were also some stuff exposed about like how Kris Wu is like very proud of himself in bed and stuff like that, which ended up being like the butt of a lot of jokes later on. Yeah. And then Kris Wu denied all accusations, but he also lost sponsorships. I guess because the brands already know that shit's gonna go down lah, seeing what's happening over the past few years. At the end of the police investigations, his social media account and music was removed from Chinese platforms, and he was then convicted.
Essentially, he's in Chinese prison as we speak, and he has been sentenced to 13 years in prison.
And after he comes out, he's not allowed to stay in China anymore.
Like he's completely evicted from the country. Like he's supposed to be expedited
go back to Canada kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a massive shock because first of all, very famous. Like if you go to his Instagram, which is still up, he literally has photos with like Bella Hadid and stuff. I saw people like commenting like, "Watch out, Bella!" Like be careful. Like yeah, it was. I mean, they were all jokes lah. But
Cyril, yeah, he really like 人渣 to the point of 人渣.
Yeah, it is. Apparently, according to Tu Meizhu, it was well known that he would go to international students, like the communities of international students, and tell them that hey, you know, he almost treated them like his 后宫, like his personal like concubines, and he would tell these young girls lies of saying like these young girls who are fans of his, so he really manipulated them and abused his power dynamic over them, and say that, you know, these fans, like, do you want to be in my music video, do you like, we are looking to make you into a star and all these things. And then he would invite them to dinner and either drug them or, you know, ask them to drink to the point of being unconscious and then take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So it was really genuinely very horrible, and it was so atrocious that like the internet was kind of shell-shocked at how like bad it was. And like also to add to what Wu Fan said, the expose was a bit different from Luo Zhixiang's ex-girlfriend Zhou Yangqing, who wrote it in a very level-headed and objective manner. This particular expose was written in a very sensationalized manner. The language was purposely used the language was purposely made in a way to rile out certain emotions and to make him the butt of the joke, even though like these are very genuine, serious allegations.
Like literal big jokes.
Yeah, like okay, so I think let's just throw it in. Why not? So basically, he the girl that accused him of all these horrendous things compared his dick to being a toothpick. Yeah.
Which is why his name is now Wu Qian, which like means Wu toothpick.
Yeah, his toothpick Wu. So like, the internet really had a field day with this one. Even though it was very serious allegations.
Yeah. Wait, what I wanted to say about the allegations was like, actually before Tu Meizhu came out for this, right, there were other girls who actually tried to expose him. I remember there was a Xiao Jina incident, another female influencer who was dealing with the same problems with Kris Wu. And also Kris Wu had some scandals of the same sort when he was still a K-pop star back then. Yeah. But somehow like everything got smoothed over. And actually it was also exposed that his company tried to send Tu Meizhu money and asked Tu Meizhu to send...
Yes. To silence her.
Yeah, to silence her. And the thing is, right, they actually did it in a very sneaky way. So, like, I cannot remember the exact amount, but let's say they sent Tu Meizhu 1 million. Then they asked Tu Meizhu to send back, like, 30,000. And then they were trying to use this tactic to accuse her of taking money from Kris Wu. Yeah. I'm just really glad that there are girls nowadays who are, like, very tech-savvy and, like, they can protect themselves by, like, taking receipts of this stuff. And another thing about this whole incident is but there were actually celebrities who stood up to, like, defend him.
Yeah, it was very bizarre.
He had, like, such a pure public image for like God knows what reason. Like I remember Wang Wei was saying like, wow, like if a celebrity wants to sleep with you, you should be feeling very
Grateful.
blessed and grateful. I was like, what the actual shit is she talking about? But yeah, so some of these accounts who actually defended Kris Wu got cancelled also after that.
Got deleted, literally deleted from
exactly.
Weibo.
It's like, it's so bizarre.
Yeah, so that's the most infamous one of all the sex scandals, but there's more. In December of 2021, Wang Leehom, I think, what's his English name? I can't remember.
Isn't it just Wang Leehom?
I can't remember. Wang Leehom.
This is ABC, right?
Yeah, so he debuted in...
Oh, Alexander Leehom Wang.
Yeah, Leehom.
Okay.
Yeah, Leehom Wang. Yeah, Leehom Wang.
Okay.
So he in 2021, his ex-wife accused him of being a terrible man and husband by being very reliant on his mother, cheating when they were when they were married, and also patronizing prostitutes or like sex workers, and that she was abused by him in terms of like not physical abuse, but like, you know, like mental abuse, emotional
neglect,
abuse,
this kind of stuff.
neglect, and like that he was very cold towards her, very absent as a father. Many allegations about basically him and his family being very terrible towards her during the period that they were
basically
married.
A child rearing machine lah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all sorts of things. So again, like, it's just not a good look, especially when I don't know, like his stance was to deny the allegations and to claim all these kind of things, and again she chose to clap back. So the thing that I feel a little bit worrying is that, like, you know how for Western media, like if you look at YouTube, there's all these tea channels. They have very similar things in China where it's called 吃瓜群众.
Yes,
like it translates to the audience, like bystanders who are eating watermelon.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like basically it's like
eating popcorn.
It's like eating popcorn. Yeah. So like there are people who genuinely want to see the downfall. It's like the Greek or Roman fights where they are cheering for the gladiators to take down the heroes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that, and also like they want to see people like clap back, and they want to see receipts, and they thrive for the tea, you know, like they are like living for the tea. And it's a bit worrying to see all this like abuse of women and like, you know, manipulation, emotional manipulation, cheating, all these like sex scandals and like rape become like being relegated to just drama. It's kind of worrying, but I mean,
people see this as entertainment, even though these are serious issues, right?
And that people, like, these are people's lives, and it's just this is like we will cover more about this, like the dramatization of this in another celebrity later. But yeah, that was Wang Leehom, who was another piece of shit. The last...
Wait, hold up. Before that, there was just like a small anecdote that like people were speculating that Wang Leehom and Li Yunti had like feelings for each other. Yeah, it's super weird. Li Yunti is a Chinese pianist.
Oh.
Yeah, like male Chinese pianist. And then there was this joke going around that at least we know that Wang Leehom is not gay because he's sleeping around women. I don't know why this is a thing, but yeah. It's
so weird. Yeah, but okay. The last okay, it's not the last guy that was accused.
The last one that we bother talking about.
Genuinely so many, like, oh my god, we're not gonna get into like the number of people who were exposed for being bad boyfriends, for cheating on their partners, for, you know, like messing around and on like being terrible people. The list really genuinely is longer than my height, but that's besides the point. So the last one on our list is Li Yifeng.
He actually debuted as like I think 快乐男生 or that kind of like idol prediction shows in the past. And then he rose to fame, I think, with like 古剑奇谭, which is like a Chinese period fantasy drama.
Yeah.
And okay, so before that shit happened, right, he always had this like very PC image. He always sounded like he's like the moral pillar or something, you know, which is very, very ironic because in 2022, September, the Beijing police announced that like Li Yifeng has also been in a lot of sex scandals, sleeping around women.
Particularly patronizing sex workers. Yeah.
Yeah. And but the thing is, yeah, I remember his response to this was also deny. And then a lot of them, right, they deny in a way that's saying like, wow, if this is true, I will be XXX, and they said it was terrible.
Like they were saying like, I will sue whoever is like making up these malicious rumors about me and stuff like that. Okay, like the reason why he was arrested is because patronizing sex work like sex workers in China is illegal. And he didn't do it once. Apparently, allegedly, he did it many times. So yeah, like again, another downfall of a male celebrity due to sex scandals, I guess. It's just the list honestly never like keeps going. 2021 was a terrible year for celebrities. And another kind of tangent, I guess, like something that is similar is the very recent divorce between Da S
Xiao
and
S.
no Xiao S, Da S and
both of them.
no, Xiao S got divorced. Xiao S did not get divorced.
Wait, no, they didn't.
Xiao S did not get divorced. Okay.
Still? Okay.
No, yeah, correct. That is literally the entire worst response to her still being married.
Da S got that one.
Wang Xiaofei, right?
Yeah, Wang Xiaofei.
Okay, so Da S is the older of two sisters.
Xu Xiyuan, I think.
Xu Xiyuan from Taiwan. She's a Taiwanese actress. Got her fame from 流星花园.
Boys Over Flowers.
Boys Over Flowers.
Yeah.
Married to a Beijing.
The son of a tycoon.
The son of a tycoon.
Yeah.
So a very rich man.
They met for a few weeks and they instantly got married.
Yeah, like flash wedding. They had a very tumultuous relationship and eventually they recently got divorced and they have two children that they share the custody of. Because of COVID restrictions, she's in Taiwan with the children and the ex-husband is in Beijing where, you know,
with his mom who's very outspoken.
Yes. And they have been very public. I would say I would say the ex-husband and the ex-husband's mother has been very public in their dissatisfaction towards her and basically spilling out all the dirty laundry, or so they claim, but it doesn't give dirty laundry as much as it gives this guy is unhinged and really needs some help and also is incredibly misogynistic. And long story short, and he's just honestly like bullying her online. Through his Weibo posts and all the live streams. So it's genuinely like it kind of Wang Xiaofei has been spam posting his Weibo with allegations about her and complaining about her and saying like she spends all my money, even the bed sheets are like whatever the cook.
No, okay, but we need to add on to the fact that like after she divorced with Wang Xiaofei, she got married with the person that she loves from the very start.
Like her first crush,
which is a Korean ex-celebrity, I guess.
Yeah.
Zhu Jinye, I think.
Yeah, they got married relatively quickly after she got divorced.
So I think Wang Xiaofei, from his end, he felt very like emotionally betrayed.
Can you imagine how it feels to be your children and see your father talking about your mother in such a public and humiliating way and like dragging her through the mud like that, like for the whole world to see? And it's just very unsettling to, like, the Chinese netizens call him Kanye, like okay, you know how Kanye West is the English name, like, so they call him Kanye East. Like,
oh, okay, I see.
Like they call him like the Chinese Kanye. So like, long story short, like
Kanye in Chinese means you just talk shit forever.
Yeah. So basically, they gave him a lot. They are making comparisons to him, like to Kanye West, like, because they are both very unhinged and they have been both like, you know, like spamming their social media accounts over their ex-partners. And I think the most despicable thing to me is not just his behavior, it's his mother's behavior.
Yes, that is the problem.
Yeah, what his mother has been doing is that she has been live streaming, like, so imagine like Facebook Live or Instagram live streaming, talking badly about her previous daughter-in-law, and claiming to have all these things, like all these receipts and blackmail against her, while actually not like revealing anything in reality. And at the same time, she will be selling things.
Yes.
She literally sold like
green tea,
like Suan La Fen, which is like sweet, I don't know, sweet and spicy, like spicy, sour and spicy noodles. Like, she'll be like, did you know that she was such a horrible daughter-in-law? All these things she did to my precious son. And then in the middle, she'll be like, oh guys, by the way, this soup tastes incredible. Like, buy it now. And she sold hundreds and thousands of dollars of worth of goods during her live streams. And it's just so bizarre that she is monetizing this.
And another thing is she's been selling products that fit into the narrative. So she was selling green tea because in Chinese there's something called green tea bitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I guess it represents like a woman who's very two-faced, acts like she's very like
something like pick me girl. Something like that.
Yeah. And she's basically trying to say that Da S is like that.
No matter where you stand on their personal relationship. It's just beyond me why people will financially support someone like this. It really is another level of monetizing drama.
And I remember like they were also attacking like her new husband a lot.
Yeah.
Which is like, I really think it's really unfounded because it's not like they broke up because of him.
Yeah.
But they totally package it such that she's like cheating on him or something, which is like very, very unfair.
And so like we mentioned, she Da S has a younger sister Xiao S who is also married. But anyway, like she is also someone who is in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And he has been attacking her because she does I don't know why, and he accused her of like taking illegal drugs when in fact all she takes is sleeping pills for her insomnia.
Oh, I thought he was attacking Da S for that.
No, he was attacking Xiao S for like the drugs. Like it's just
basically picking on every single possible thing.
Yeah, it really like screams incel to me. I don't know why. You get what I'm trying to say? Like
it's like I pour in so many financial resources. Why don't you love me back? Kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's just so insane. Yeah, and people are, like we mentioned, netizens are like viewing this as like drama that they are enjoying and consuming like entertainment. I guess the best equivalent of this would be the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. It kind of disturbed me how people kind of commodified and like kept up with the Johnny Depp case almost as if it was entertainment. Like they were almost watching it like the latest Netflix show. So yeah, it's disturbing to me in a similar fashion, I guess. Yeah, so that is the sex scandals category complete. The next category is morality issues, to which we have our first culprit.
Oh my god, it's Zheng Shuang. I like low-key forgot about her until like we talked about her just now. Then I was like, oh yeah, she had that whole problem.
This one is another level.
Okay.
So many.
Okay, Zheng Shuang had 1,000 problems.
Yes.
Though. And one of them actually was also in Yang He which we talked about just now, under Fan Bingbing. Like she also signed contracts that look like she's only earning X amount, but actually she's earning way more, and she evaded a lot of taxes because of that. But another thing that really, really shocked netizens is in January 2021, it was revealed that she actually had 2 children born of surrogacy in the United States with her then boyfriend. She demanded a late-term abortion at 7 months because she suddenly just, according to the voice recordings, she suddenly just didn't want the children anymore. And then her then boyfriend exposed her because the then boyfriend was taking care of the children now himself.
And she abandoned them after the relationship with the then boyfriend turned sour. So this is problematic on 3 aspects. First thing is, surrogacy is not legal in China. In fact, it is a heavily debated issue, with most of the population being very strongly against surrogacy because they think it is not ethical. Whether or not it is ethical is up to you personally, like your personal opinion that doesn't really factor in. But in China, legally, it is not allowed. However, there are certain loopholes that allow you to have like surrogate mothers overseas. So if you are a Chinese citizen, like Zheng Shuang is, she went to the US to, like, she didn't want to get pregnant herself. She wanted children, but she wanted to do it through surrogacy, but she couldn't do it in China, so she went to the US. So that was the first thing that the netizens were upset with her about, because like they were like, why do you do this unethical thing? That's the first thing. Second thing is, she demanded the children to be aborted at 7 months.
Yeah.
Like, to her, it doesn't really matter your views on abortion. 7 months old is into the 3rd trimester. Like, it is very late for you to willy-nilly demand an abortion.
Yeah.
That's the second thing people were very upset about. The last thing that people were very upset about is because she was told that it is way too dangerous to have an abortion at such a late stage. Her response, like, okay, so when this was exposed, video recordings were leaked, and in the video recording she said in a very nonchalant, like, she was like saying, oh no, so like they can't have an abortion, what do I do now? And then she said in a very nonchalant and arrogant manner, like, just get rid of them. Like, like, she talked about the kids' human lives as if they were disposable items, like not even like pets to be,
and also with no consideration for the surrogate mother
like, or the boyfriend or anybody in the
exactly.
Yeah, so it was very, very frustrating for all the people, like all the people involved, and for all the bystanders, the netizens who kind of like knew of the situation. It was one of the few cases where I think the state's response was not like usurped by the netizens' response. Does that make sense? Like usually, like if I let the Chinese government, there's two extremes. Either the Chinese government doesn't say anything or they say a lot. So for things like sex scandals and stuff like that, they don't really care. For things like patriotism, the Chinese government steps in like and goes way above their, like the necessary needs for you to react. But in this case, I personally feel like the Chinese government did not overreact, and like the netizens were more angry than the Chinese government appeared to be, because I think it was very like emotionally upsetting for a lot of people, because it was just genuinely seen as unethical. Like everyone, it was like there was no one defending her, other than her like diehard fans and stans.
Yeah.
But like genuinely everyone was against her because it was so unethical. And
like, even if you are okay with the idea of surrogacy and abortion, the fact that her response was so nonchalant and so late,
I think
that's
it was
the main problem.
I think it was the fact that the voice recording reviewed her exact tone when she said those things.
Yes.
Like it really drew a lot of people like to a very emotional response. So basically the scandal drew the attention of the state regulators, and they released statements criticizing her use of surrogacy because it's illegal, and they labeled her as a problematic artist, and she was, banned from all the different productions, and her presence was wiped off the internet. You have an idea by now what the whole procedure is like for an idol to be cancelled.
Yeah, but I feel like in this case, like the netizens reacted so strongly that the government didn't have to do anything.
Because it like normally there will be people defend like on both sides, or people on the fence. There was no one on the fence for this one. Everyone was against her. Yeah. Then the next it's a couple. This is a couple that we need to talk about for this.
I guess it's part under morality issues, because in China, having children before you officially marry is not really a like normalized thing. But it was just a very, very weird incident. So it's between Hua Chenyu and Zhang Bichen. So Hua Chenyu is Kuainan or something.
Not Kuainan. Is it Kuainan?
Yeah.
He was on Kuainan.
Basically, his growing up story was that his parents didn't really give him a lot of attention. He probably had like some developmental hiccups along the way. And
his persona was the weird alternative.
What do you call it? An almost alien musician, but who is very talented. Yeah, so his persona from then was a very talented person who hasn't been very socialized into the rest of the world, might be a bit isolated even, and very, very pure. I think that's the key phrase.
Almost childlike.
Yes.
Yeah,
almost childlike and very caught up in his own imaginative world. There's also Zhang Bichen, who is a singer.
Yeah,
basically.
They're both singers.
Yeah, and they're both known for like being very talented. Yeah, and then one day it was
early 2021.
I can't remember
It was the reason why it was early 2021 I remember is because this incident.
The Zheng Shuang thing. Then
this incident was very much overshadowed by Zheng Shuang's like expose, because many netizens were saying that they were very fortunate, because if not for Zheng Shuang, this would be the talk of the town.
Another thing about the date, Wang Feng released song.
Oh,
you know
really?
about the joke?
I don't know.
There's this joke. Okay, there's this other famous singer in China called Wang Feng, and there's a joke that every time he releases a song or releases a new MV, right, some shit in the entertainment industry goes down. So like his promotions are always overshadowed by the bigger scandal that's happening. So they always ask like, when is Wang Feng gonna release their next song? But back to Hua Chenyu and Zhang Bichen. So what happened was suddenly they were like, 是的，我们有孩子, like, yes, I have a child.
The reason why fans were upset is not just that the fact that premarital like childbearing is frowned upon in China. It's also that the two of them were actually rumored to be together. They both like vehemently denied it, particularly Hua Chenyu. In East Asian culture, it is very common for idols to be expected to stay single in order for fans to feel like they're accessible, which is very problematic, and we can discuss that on a later date. But essentially, Hua Chenyu was trying to maintain his single persona. So even though he was actually having a relationship with Zhang Bichen, doesn't really matter what the conditions of the relationship was. He was in a relationship, but he denied it to all his fans and everybody else. And another thing is, they are not currently together, so they're currently broken up, and they're co-parenting the child. But the thing that really got everyone's attention is that Zhang Bichen actually, when she found out she was pregnant, she did not tell Hua Chenyu. She actually left the country. She went to, I think, the States, and she gave birth on her own she just essentially ghosted Hua Chenyu for 1 year. and then people were wondering like how desperate, how terrible must a boyfriend must you be that if your girlfriend found out she was pregnant, her first reaction is to go into hiding and bear the child on her own.
Yeah.
Like she actually had fully not like she only recently decided to bring like to let Hua Chenyu know that she has like that they bore a child together. Like how terrified must she be of the backlash from her boyfriend?
Fans also.
Yeah,
fans
the
in
fans and
particular.
the like so everyone was like saying like this is very problematic on very many levels, and they started speculating and stuff. But essentially they weren't fully cancelled. Their reputations definitely suffered, and but they, as compared to the rest of the people on the like celebrities on this list, they are the, I guess, the most active ones that are still in the Chinese media, but they are definitely nowhere near where they used to be.
Yeah, I think another part about this is like when Zhang Buichen shared her story, right? She shared it in a very like empathetic way, like, oh, please don't accuse Hua Chenyu of anything. I did it out of consideration for him myself, out of my love for him. I guess if you're a very big fan of Zhang Buichen, you might feel like, okay, if this is what my celebrity wants, then I will respect them and give them the space they want. Maybe that's part of the reason. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to say was like there's this 纯情大男孩人设, which means like very pure.
Devoted.
Hua Chenyu has that kind of 人设, and also Kris Wu had that kind of persona.
A lot of people, a lot of celebrities like to like fake, not say fake, but like to take on the persona of being a very devoted, loving person, or like an innocent individual.
And like when a lot of when they are being exposed of certain sex scandals, they pull out this persona first. Yeah.
And then they deny things.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. Moving on to the last category, which is about fan behaviour. This one I think Wu Fan can take center stage for. Like she knows so much about this. Come share with us.
Okay. If you remember Zhang Zhehan just now, he got famous because he acted in boys love drama
Word of Honor.
Word of Honor. So Xiao Zhan, similar pathway, he got very famous because he acted in the BL drama Chenqingling.
The Untamed.
The Untamed, yeah. And
he's the guy that he's Wei Wuxian, he's the one in black. Black and red.
Oh my baby.
She's already fangirling. Focus.
He's not the reason why I wrote my thesis on Chenqingling, but okay, that's besides the point. His fame got so big that like, you know, fans, they like to fantasize and they like to write fan fiction. So Xiao Zhan, actually, he has a co-star, Wang Yibo, who acted as Lan Wangji, the guy in blue and white lah, okay? So people don't just ship the characters themselves. Sometimes they ship the celebrities also.
Yeah.
And it's like a very big thing, I think, in the entertainment industry nowadays. But pertaining specifically to dramas that focus on the characters' relationships more than anything else. So after the drama is out and everything, they have like concerts and like fan meets, and then like the main leads or like whoever is just being portrayed as a couple in those dramas, they have to act in a way that wow, they're like really lovey-dovey with each other, which is very interesting because in China there's a whole like, you know, straight agenda going on, but fans really just gobble it up. Like, you can see them as very good friends, but whether or not they're really like into each other is like a whole different thing. But people are very obsessed with this idea. And in this particular fanfic, the characters were portrayed as like non-cis male. Xiao Zhan himself has never specified that, you know, he doesn't identify as cis male, but character in the fanfiction was written as such. So there was like a humongous fan war. It got so huge that Xiao Zhan had to take responsibility by being cancelled for his fans' behaviour. Xiao Zhan got cancelled for like more than a year, which is very sad. I think it's, if you're a fandom expert, there's this fanfiction website called Archives of Our Own AO3. This site got banned because of all the fan wars, creating too much chaos on China's social media landscape.
Imagine you are not a fan of Xiao Zhan. You don't even, you barely know who he is, and because of him and his fans, it's not even because of him, because of his fans, you no longer have access to this website that you can for you to enjoy fan fiction.
Yeah.
People also reported AO3 as pornographic material to the authorities.
So people are upset with him like as by proxy. So like basically they were asking him to pay, not say pay, but like asking him to be whole responsibility for the actions of his and behaviors of his fans. And I think a lot of it has also to do with the fact that Xiao Zhan was seen as a 流量明星, which we will cover more in like following episodes. The difference between 流量明星 and 好演员. So essentially 流量明星 is like someone who has a lot of influence. 流量 is like clicks, like celebrities,
web
traffic celebrities. It's like the difference between celebrities and actors.
Mm.
So a lot of the backlash towards him was that 德不配位, like he had so much exposure, he had so much resources on the tips of his fingers, but people did not see him as a genuinely amazing actor that deserved, like, imagine somebody got like 10 Oscars, but you know, like they can barely act, and you know, for a very long time Leonardo DiCaprio didn't get a single one. Everyone was like, he deserves so many. So it's that kind of idea where somebody, just because they are very famous, it's like people's outrage towards the Kardashians. They're famous for nothing. It's the same thing. Like, I'm not saying that Xiao Zhan is famous for nothing, but a lot of people think that his fame and notoriety does not match his talents in terms of genuine acting abilities and skills. So that also made a lot of people kind of sour a lot of people's attitude towards him, because I don't think you are that talented, and yet you are making life difficult for me as someone who just wants to read fan fiction.
Yeah.
And you know, your fans are going around wreaking havoc on a lot of people, like on the internet, on all corners of the internet, and it's genuinely annoying me. That kind of, like, that was the sentiment of a lot of Chinese netizens.
Because he's honestly been very low key. Like, as a celebrity,
he could be worse.
It's like, for someone who reached that level of fame, he wasn't snobbish. He was very low key until like shit happened, and he was like completely gone. Yeah. After he finally stopped getting cancelled, he came out to apologize, and he actually like cooperated with Weibo to publish guidelines on like how to be a civil-minded fan and stuff like that. Yeah, like he had, like, after being the scapegoat for like a lot of fans' outrage about just celebrities in general, he's now the mouthpiece for Weibo to guide fan behavior. I don't know whether to call this character development or just like the inevitability of things going on in the world. But
if you sense a theme, essentially a lot of these celebrities, their rise and their fall, particularly their fall, has to do with things that are out of their control. Or most, if not all of them, kind of sowed the seeds of their own downfall. Like, they have to be, it is their actions and behavior that led to their downfall. But you'll begin to notice that a lot of these exposés are not purely because of their actions and behaviors. There are other factors at play. So essentially, if you look at the year of 2021, and even before that and after that, there has been a crackdown by the government. I know I keep saying this and I sound like a broken record, but it's not just me. Like, I know, like, you read it online, it's genuine that most experts agree that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, has enacted a crackdown on celebrities. And the reason for this is, like, they even announced it. So during the summer of 2021, they announced a heightened crackdown on internet celebrities, basically accusing them of promoting lavish lifestyles and creating online chaos. Their words, not mine. As more evidence emerged, scholars concluded that the cracking down on celebrities was the first step of Xi Jinping's new common prosperity campaign. So essentially, like, yes, all these celebrities did horrible things, and that's why they kind of, got cancelled and got exposed. But a lot of it has to do with the government, and it's almost like a conspiracy theory. Who does the government want to be in the center of attention? Who does the government want to take away, like, attention from, or like to turn the tides of the public discourse on? So for decades, basically, so the reason why China was cracking down on celebrities, particularly with the tax evasion and stuff, is because China's economic growth has been a key pillar of legitimacy for Chinese Communist Party. Essentially, they have been saying, we are a good government because look at the economic growth. Look at the millions of people that we have allegedly lifted out of poverty. But as the economic growth slows, there is a need for common prosperity, because China's economic inequality and wealth distribution is so terrible that they feel the need to kind of rebrand themselves as not just look at the economic growth, also look at how equal and fair we are. Don't forget, we are a socialist country. So, like, as a result, high-earning celebrities and business tycoons were the first to bear the brunt of this common prosperity, like everyone be rich together kind of campaign.
小康社会.
Yeah, 小康社会. So the sky-high income of some A-list celebrities became a glaring reminder of China's gaping wealth gap. So hence the tax evasion, cracking down on the celebrities that were evading taxes. On top of that, Xi Jinping is a very obsessive person who wants a lot of control over China, and the dazzle of stardom and the frenzy of fandom became increasingly viewed as dangerous influence on the country's youth. Basically, imagine it this way. If you are, like, I will guess, like, Xi Jinping is the authoritative father in a family, and you are the child. So maybe, you suddenly became a teenager and you have, like, this new boyfriend and you're, like, wooing and eyeing over the boyfriend, and your father is like, no, I am the only one who gets to call the shots around here. You should not be influenced by anybody else. Like, your school of thought, your behavior, your actions, what you think, what you do, should not be influenced by anybody else except me, because I'm the one in charge. So when people become so infatuated with these like rising idols and stars, to the point where they are willing to go against the government. When Kris Wu was arrested, his fans were genuinely posting online about breaking him out of prison.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
So it became like, it is now seen increasingly as a threat against the government. Like, if these young people are so enamored by these celebrities,
to the point of, like, illogical and immoral sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, like, threatening, like, politically threatening their position of power. Yeah. So the last part is a bit to do with fandom. So we will cover the concept of Chinese fandom and, like, fandom culture in other episodes. But essentially, like Wu Fan mentioned, the fans have become so illogical, like, to the point of immoral at times, and they are, like, so unreasonably infatuated that they are willing to do anything and everything, to the point where it is gone overboard, and the Chinese government feels like it's time to rein things in. And essentially, the entire celebrity crackdown was something of, like, a power move, kind of almost like a power trip, to the point. In Chinese, there's this Chengyu called 杀鸡儆猴. So you kill the chicken to intimidate the monkey, to scare the monkey into submission. Basically, what they were doing with the celebrities is sending a message to all celebrities and all citizens alike. It does not matter who you are, how much money you earn, how many resources you have. It does not matter how long you have been famous for. If we want to, we can make you disappear with a snap of a finger overnight. And we do not even need to give reasons why. That's what they did with Zhao Wei. And another thing was with Kris Wu, they really took the opportunity to play up the patriotism. Like, you are, doesn't matter what country you're from, what nationality you are someone on Chinese soil, you need to abide by Chinese law. This was literally the words from the officials' mouth in their statements that they released about the arrest of Kris Wu. So it was a way of flexing their power and reinstating themselves as those who are in control, like in legitimate control over the country of China. So we can sit here and talk about, like, celebrity scandals and, like, joke about dick jokes and, like, say that men are trash, but behind this, like, facade of, oh, celebrities are horrible people, you also have to keep in mind that the government actually has a very big part to play in all of these, like, consecutive downfalls of these high profile individuals. Because it is not as if these people are evil out of nowhere. It's like, to put it very bluntly and in a very dark manner, the government probably knows what's going on. The government probably has blackmail over a lot of celebrities, and they just choose whether or not to release it and at what time that they deem convenient. So, like the Zhang Zhehan situation, the photos were released in 2018 and 2019, but he was not embroiled in the scandal until 2021, when his new BL drama got very popular, and he became very popular, and the whole BL genre became, more mainstream. So a lot of this is very complicated, and a lot of Chinese culture, modern day culture, even, like, I would say prior to 1990s, like, not contemporary China but, like, modern China, a lot of what we consider pop culture or even things that are entertainment actually has a lot to do with the Chinese government and their agenda. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing to keep in mind when you think about, like, it's not, like, let's put it bluntly, whatever is going on in Hollywood, Joe Biden has no say. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but whereas in China, whatever is going on in the market doesn't, like, even you'll be surprised at the things that are censored, you'll be surprised at the things that are pushed, the narratives that are being popularized, being shoved down audiences' throat, all at the command and because of the intention of the Chinese government, or even directly from Xi Jinping himself. And definitely these are topics that we will dive deeper into and cover more on in like further episodes. But yeah, that's my very long
thank you Prof. Jingnan.
thoughts on the CCP's crackdown. Anything you want to add?
Actually, like, just on the point of like Xi Jinping's rise to power in general, like when he first became the Zhuxi, the first thing he did was, okay, I'm gonna do like a massive anti-corruption campaign. I'm gonna like fan Wu everywhere. On the positive side of things, it's like, wow, finally we can deal with like China's corruption that's been around for like decades, right? But honestly, it's also, for him, the personal agenda was also like to break up certain power conglomerates within the political system. And like for this entertainment industry thing, it's also like, okay, the good thing is, yes, we are cleaning up a lot of the problems that are entrenched within the entertainment industry. But once again, it's also about breaking out power conglomerates, because if you're famous in the entertainment industry, you probably have a lot of influence, like somewhere economically, somewhere politically, or like some kind of connection for sure. I think for like high profile celebrities, it's very hard to say when they're actually saying something that they genuinely want to say, because they have so much responsibility. Everything they are posting on social media is probably minced over many times by the entire management company.
Yeah.
And if you ever hit any sort of fame, you have to be prepared for people digging into the past for all the stuff you have done before. Especially because in China, influencers and celebrities, as long as you have some sort of fame, you're expected to uphold the beacon of being a model citizen in China. So now the message that all these crackdowns is sending is, no matter how big or powerful that you become, you can never be bigger than the law. And yeah, so if you remove the Xi Jinping political agenda from this whole crackdown, you can say that the positive aspect is that the entertainment industry is being cleansed of all the terrible things that people are doing behind closed doors, because they think that nobody will ever catch them and they can just enjoy this kind of lifestyle with all the money that they're earning from being celebrities.
This is like someone, I guess Xi Jinping is someone who really knows how to use PR. Do you remember when he first stepped into power? It was 2015. We were in Beijing.
Oh, by the way, he's in his third term, which is like quite rare. Yeah,
not quite rare. He's the one that broke the precedent. Anyway, I have a lot of thoughts on Xi Jinping. But yeah, like he advertised himself to be the big friendly uncle. Do you remember?
Oh my god! He went the 包子铺, right? He go and buy. Okay.
He went long story short. If you're familiar with Xi Jinping and his rise to power, you know that initially when he first gained power, he kind of put himself in a position where he advertised himself as this friendly, relatable, down to earth, just another Chinese guy, and like his nickname at that point in time, which by the way was pushed by the state media. It was not like random netizen came out of it. It was adopted by the state media and pushed by the state media. His nickname was Xi Dada, which literally means like Uncle Xi, like your next door, like just your friendly next door neighbor, like who went to and he went to buy bao, like buns, like steamed buns from this particular like restaurant.
It's just like a random roadside restaurant.
Roadside restaurant, and it was this photo op of like, oh my god, our supreme leader is willing to go and buy like buns himself, like he eats like the rest of us. Like it was this whole like big like publicity moment, and everyone was like, oh my god, he's, you know how like Jennifer Lawrence had that moment where like her moment in Hollywood,
like where everyone brings alcohol.
Yeah, everyone's just like, oh my gosh, she's
so
just
relatable.
Like, she's so relatable. Yeah, it's like that kind of vibe, except as the years went by and he became much more authoritarian, he has since banned the use of the nickname Xi Dada, which he adopted initially, and he has no longer been seen buying any bao from anywhere. But yeah, like this is a man who knows how to make use of media and how to advertise certain things, and it's really no surprise that he is using like celebrities to his own advantage, and of course getting rid of them to his advantage. Yeah, so I guess that wraps up our segment and episode on celebrity scandals, and this is the first of our mini series on Chinese entertainment and censorship. So if you're interested in this kind of things, be sure to tune in to our next episode. Here is a mini spoiler for you. It will be on Mandopop. Yeah, so if you like Mandopop, be sure to tune in to our next episode.
Catch us on our Instagram account at china.through.sglasses, which means Singapore glasses, for juicy snippets of our next episode. So tune in to that.
Thank you so much.
Bye.